Hi, I'm Michael Newrock, and welcome to the market analysis video for this week, November 28. We're going to take a look at what opportunities exist this week, the good, the bad, the ugly, which ones to avoid, which ones to look at more closely and to stalk, and even possibly what's going on today. Now, as always, I use three different indicators on the charts. I use the trend catcher indicator, which are these big arrows denoting the start of new trends in that particular time frame. We use price slip, which are these small arrows, which give us an idea of reversals in price. And we use the macro levels, which are these horizontal lines, and they are based on weekly, daily, and weekly time frames. So, it's using historical data from months, if not years, to give us an idea of, what levels are not not necessarily recent highs and recent lows, but more about, what has provided levels of support, levels of resistance, and significant levels in the past on those higher time frames, which is what the institutions and big players are always going to look at when taking trades. Now, of course, you get complete access to all of these indicators as a premium member. If you are a premium member, then I hope you are using these indicators because you're obviously going to get a lot more alerts and trade opportunities than the signals that we provide. If you aren't a premium member, then make sure you upgrade because they are definitely worthwhile. Um, okay, so let's go through the charts. We'll start with gold to start off with, and let's have a look at this. This is on the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to go straight to the weekly. And as I pointed out a few weeks back, we were looking at gold changing direction from an upward move to more of a downward move, and that's exactly what happened. We did have a bit of a move upwards around here, and since then it's collapsed entirely. This is on the weekly time frame, so we've had a drop from 1360, 1370 right down to currently around 1190 and as low as 1168, almost touching this macro level last week. So on the weekly we're down, on the daily we're down. We did get recently this price slip, which is very interesting, right when it came close to 1168. So at this stage, it's a battle at 1191. This is the line in the sand. If it crosses or if it closes above this level, then we could see movement back up towards 1207. If it moves back down below this level, then we could see another move and another test of that 1168 level. So moving on the 4-hour time frame, you can see here we've been progressively going down. So it really just depends on what's been happening here. It's been closing consistently under that 1191 macro level. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens now. On the 1-hour time frame, we have closed above it for the first time, but for short-term trades, certainly you can look at these time frames. The 1 hour and the 15 minute is one of my favorites for short-term trades. But over the greater term, it's best to look at least the 4 hour. And in this case, it's a little unclear as to what's going to happen. Again, if it closes above 1191.66, we could see move up towards 1207, 1208. If it closes below, then we could see another testing of that 1168 level. Okay, Euro on the 4 hour has just had a moving average crossover, denoting a possible move upwards. However, if you look at the weekly, it is certainly still downward. In the daily, also downward. We've had a bit of an upward swing, but the pressure is still to the downside. So looking at the 4 hour, we may see a rise up to 1107. This zone around here, and if we get a move back down, then it could be a good opportunity to short it. Looking at the 1 hour here, same thing applies. We're not in a position to look at this as this current level other than any kind of scalping. But at this stage, it's looking at a possible drift upwards towards this 1107, and then we'll be looking at either a price flip, market reversal move, at this macro level if it's used as resistance. If it breaks above that, then we'll have to reassess. But at this stage, we're looking at shorting this pair. On the pound, this is on the 4 hour, we've found resistance here at this 124.82. Looking at the weekly, it's heavily down and has been since, well, well, if you look back here, we're looking at since 2014, it's been going pretty much down. Overall anyway. On the daily, we're looking at a possible move up, but again, we're really at this crossroads, this line in the sand. 124.82 is the level to watch. If it closes above, there could be movement up towards 128, and that is going to be, helped along by a new daily crossover here. Now, it hasn't been confirmed. This has just come up just an hour or so ago on the new day for the trading week, but that's on the start of the candle, so we do need to see it close above this level to confirm that crossover. So on the 4 hour, if it breaks down, then we could see another moving average crossover here. Now, if that occurs, then we'd be looking at shorting it. Looking at the 1 hour, nothing there. But on the 15, we've had this price reversal here, which is interesting, but it is zigzagging, so it's really too early to tell. I would be looking at seeing how it reacts at this 124.82 level. If it moves down, then there's a good possibility to ride a new trend catcher trade to the downside, and probably to around this 120 level, retest those recent lows. Okay, euro pound. If the pound does go down, then the euro pound there's a good chance of it going up, and that's, you know, more authority to that is placed when you look at the weekly. Weekly, you can see it's been clearly going up since mid 2015. It has gone down in the last couple of weeks, and it is now in negative territory. But we'll have to wait to see if that confirms. So on the weekly, even though we've got a bit of a downswing recently, we are still very much in an upward trend. We do need to get a movement back up, for this to be sustained. Otherwise, the tide might change against us on that. On the daily, recently it has been downward moving, but we are seeing a bit of a slowdown at this 0.8505 level. And on the 4 hour, you can see a moving average crossover or a trend catcher trade that is just about to occur. Now, if that on the close of the candle closes up at around 85.25, 85.30 thereabouts, then we could definitely see some movement up towards 86.36, and that would be in line with the overall weekly uptrend and the new daily upswing. Pound Swiss, this is pretty much a reverse of the euro pound, and we're just about to see a new trend catcher trade here. We've seen it find resistance at this 126.47 macro level, and it's not sharp enough for me, so I'm not sure if it's really over yet as far as this recent rally. But if we look at the weekly, it's very much been downward for quite some time. And on the daily, it has been recently upward after this big fall. But again, we're finding that that resistance at 126.47. So back on the 4 hour, if we get a decent crossover and a move down down to around 25.50, 25.60, that would give more authority to a moving downwards. Same with the 1 hour, it's in no man's land here. If it twists back over and forms a new crossover, then once again, that could be a definite positive to shorting this pair, and that's how I would be looking at it, particularly based on that weekly downtrend. Okay, Aussie. Aussie has been fairly, zigzaggy up, not really doing much after this major fall. This trend catcher here caught a really nice one, and it hasn't changed back since here where it failed or didn't really go anywhere apart from the first little move, and then here once again. But again, if we look at the weekly, it is technically downward, although it has been really sideways. It's difficult to look at the Aussie on a longer term, only because it is one of those currencies that tends to rally on certain conditions. But currently, we have seen this downward move, so it may be range bound between the 73.85 and 75.33, like it was between 75.33 and 76.76 for quite some time. Being on the daily there, you can see going back to July of this year. So this push has brought it down. It really have to wait and see on this to see what's going to. It doesn't look very strong, as far as a rally. However, a nice little pop could see it move back up to here. I don't think we'll see it move further than that. If it does, then it's going to be upward again. But if it finds resistance here, that would be the time to look for shorting this pair. Weekly, technically recently down, daily down, and under pressure. So if it drifts up a little bit more and then we get a move down, that could be a good opportunity to short it. Okay, Kiwi, very similar to the Aussie. This is on the 4 hour. On the weekly, again technically downward. However, again not very strong. It's just this angle is very very slight. Uh, on the daily, it's experienced that big move here, but similarly, we could see it bounce along between the 69.78 and 71.16. At the moment, it's technically upward, in a new upward trend, but it's a pair that I would not be um, necessarily looking at until another opportunity to short it comes. We actually did publish along, I think it was this one here, and it actually did fail. But it's since found support at that 69.78 macro level right on it. So, we could see some movement up towards 71.16 or 71.76 even, and then we'll reassess at that time. Aussie Kiwi now, if we do see a rally in the Kiwi, then we may see a fall in the Aussie Kiwi. This is on the 4 hour. On the weekly, you can see that we're just looking at a possibility of a new weekly downtrend. If that occurs, then we could see the Aussie falling with it, or that they both work in unison here. If the Aussie Kiwi goes down, it's more than likely the Aussie's going down or staying still, and the New Zealand's going up. But at this stage, we're looking at a possible downward move, but it is very mixed. On the daily, we're looking at a possible of an upward move. So it's one of those pairs at the moment to put on the sidelines before another opportunity becomes apparent. Okay, on the dollar CAD, I've been bullish on the dollar CAD for quite some time, and if we look at the weekly, it has gone up over the last few weeks, and previous to that, it's been going up since 2014, pretty much, very strongly. Apart from these corrections, this was the most major of them. But on the weekly, it's technically up. On the daily, it's been upward moving, and on the 4 hour, we have not seen the strongest of moves apart from this one here, and this price flip here caught a nice one. So at the moment, I'm looking at it possibly coming back down to 134.57, this macro level. And then, if we get another price flip, something like that, then it could be a good opportunity, particularly because we're still in a daily upward trend and a weekly trend. So we're looking at going long on this when we find another opportunity. Now is not that time because it's obviously in the short term moving down. So it's just a matter of waiting, and again, we'll see how it reacts to this 134.57 level. Dollar Swiss has been moving up. Just recently, we got a trend catcher to the downside, but overall on the weekly, it's been up recently, and on the daily, you can see that even more pronounced. So we'll have to wait and see how it reacts at the 100.74 level. This provided support, just recently. So if it does similar, then there could be an opportunity to get in on a 4 hour or even a 1 hour. But But for now, it's just a matter of waiting over the next, may only be half a day away before an opportunity presents itself. Okay, dollar yen also we've been very bullish on. We've been talking about this if you've been tuning in on these market analysis sessions, then you've probably picked up that I've been bullish on dollar yen and the other yen crosses as well for a number of reasons. Now, we did see over the last few weeks it coming closer, and it's finally crossed over on the weekly time frame, and up and away it went. It really took off nicely. On the daily, same thing applies, and on the 4 hour, it's more. Well, it's been quite strong as well, but it took a while to get there. Now it looks like we might have a bit of a fall. And 110.65 is the level that I'd be looking at. If it breaks through there, then next stop would be 108.98, and that could present some, fantastic opportunity to go long on it once again. So at this stage, it's in a bit of a free fall. Um, Technically still up on the 4 hour. We'll see where this candle closes. It might shoot back up. If it pops back up and closes above 112.47, then it could be heading back up towards 114.87. If it crosses over here, you could likely see a move further down towards 110.65 or 108.98 before we see another move upward, if at all. Euro yen has been going upward on the 4 hour. If we look at it on the weekly, similar pattern as the dollar yen. In fact, you'll see similar patterns on all the yen crosses, and this one has it's technically in an upward move on the weekly. That's it's interesting because the euro has been under pressure as well. So the euro yen would be a good one to go for when you're seeing the euro rally as well, just to make sure that move is likely to be as strong as possible. On the daily, it has been moving up. We found that resistance here. This price flip may actually be the one that sees this price move down to 117.53, and that's where I'd be looking at next possible stop as support, and use either a macro level trade, a price flip on that macro level if it forms. Other than that, possibly another trend catcher trade, as it moves down. The reason though that we're looking at longs rather than shorts, even if the alerts come up on the indicators, is that overall it is stronger on the weekly and the daily. So it's best on the short term to look only for long at this current time. Okay, pound yen, very similar to the euro yen, very similar. On the weekly, you can actually see really pronounced crossover, and that has just occurred. Okay, so at the end of this week, this will be confirmed. Now, if it drops down to, see, it's currently just over 140 on that macro level, sitting just above. If it comes down to around 137, 136, and a new setup on a shorter time frame forms, that would be a fantastic opportunity potentially to catch this weekly upward move. And who knows? I mean, you just have to look at past highs based on these macro levels here, 195. I mean, there's just thousands of pips in this over the long term. If you took your trade and forgot about it and went on a holiday for a few months, it could be a very nice surprise for you when you get back. But that's more as a hold positional trade. On the daily, again, we're looking at this 140. If it holds above this, then we could be seeing another opportunity to move up towards 144. If it falls, then 133.48 would be the next level that we'd be looking at for support of going long. And it has gone on the 4 hour up for quite some time, so it's not unreasonable to see it fall or correct down to this level, or somewhere around here. If a new trade forms to the upside on the 4 hour, then it could be a good opportunity for going long. But of course, like with the euro, you want to take the pound yen when the pound is looking strong, particularly because the pound has, as you probably know, from Brexit some months ago now. It's been experiencing a lot of movement to the downside. How long that continues, I don't know, but there's more pressure on the downside than to the upside at the moment. Okay, Aussie yen, similar here. You want to be looking at the Aussie yen when the Aussie itself is trading upward. If it's trading down, then it's probably best to give the Aussie yen a miss. On the weekly, it has also crossed over to an upward move. On the daily, it's been upward for quite some time, and so it's possible we've had a couple of price flips occur here. We got one here. It just slammed straight down. We got one here. It came down a couple of hundred pips. We got one here. It didn't pan out, but this one is already in profit, and now it's moving below this 83.55 macro level. So if it closes below that, then we have macro level as resistance on our backs for a move downward. But if you look at the weekly, it's up. On the daily, it's up. On the 4 hour, it is up. So it's just a matter of waiting for another opportunity to buy the valley. Okay, 1 hour. All right, moving on. Kiwi yen, very similar. I'm probably sound a little repetitive at the moment, but all these pairs are against the yen, and they're experiencing similar conditions. Again, on the weekly, it's been upward for the last several weeks. On the daily, it's been strongly up, and on the 4 hour, it's been up as well. But as you can see, it is in a current downward movement, which is great. This gives us an opportunity to get in again. 78.58 is the closest macro level. If it busts through that, then 77.35, that would be the level to watch. And then, tune your indicators and the time frame that you want to trade based on those levels of support. Swiss yen, very similar. Weekly, it's changed over currently. Recently, daily, strong, and 4 hour, just recently seeing a move down. So it just depends on what happens. But it would be nice for it as well to come down to this 109.40, and there's another opportunity to go long on it. CAD yen, same again. Very, very similar on the weekly chart, daily upward, and it does look like the possibility of a new 4 hour trend trade to the downside. That's in progress right now, or that's about to occur. If it continues, then it's imminent. If the price continues to move downward, particularly break through 82.74 and below it, then we could see a move down to 80.62. If it doesn't, then we could see another move, and the correction's been very shallow. But again, all the yen crosses are very similar in their combination. Euro Aussie, okay, on the weekly we're down, but we have seen some swings, but they've been very, very short-lived. On the daily, it's down, and on the 4 hour, this is interesting because we were actually bullish on the Euro Aussie back around here, and a new trend forms. But if this closes above, then we could see some movement, particularly if we see weakness in the Aussie. Then if it closes above 143.46, then we could see a move up towards that 147 level. So we've seen a daily bust through, fail, move over here, or cross over here, fail. If we see another one occurring, then on the daily, and starting with the 4 hour, then there could be some movement up towards 47. But it has been a fairly messy currency. But that is one to watch. If you see weakness in the Aussie and the Euro is stable or moving up, then this could be a good pair to get in on. Pound Aussie, downward on the weekly. However, in the middle of a weekly upswing, but it really depends. If it closes below 166.45, more pressure on the downside. If it stays above and moves up, then we could see a movement up. It is pretty oversold at the moment. And on the daily, you can see it there. It's in the middle of a daily upward trend, supported by these upward price flips. Always try to get the price flips that are in line with the overall trend. Um, okay, so if it's upward trend, try to pick up upward, price flips, and if it's downward, then look for the downward price flips. None of them actually occurred on that particular down, um, so that's not the best example there, but you can see what I mean. If it's going up, look for price flips to the upside and look for macro levels to the upside. If it's going down, look for price flips to the downside and macro levels as resistance to the downside. So this is really interesting because it's looking like the pressure is to the upside. If we get a move up, we're going to see this MACD change to green. That's going to denote an upswing on the daily and on the 4 hour. If we get a crossover here, then we could certainly be moving up towards 172. On the 1 hour, it's already occurred. So the 4 hour could provide a nice move. Let's say closed here. I've got a stop of around 70, and to recent highs, a high of around 150, and much more than that again, up to that 172 macro level. Euro Kiwi. Okay, looks like there's weakness in the Kiwi at the moment because we're seeing a move upward. It's been drifting, but it's been very slight. So in the weekly, it's been moving down. On the daily, down as well. But we've found a little bit of a slowdown in the move. So again, this might provide a good opportunity to go up towards 154. If it does move over again to the upside, then after this zigzagging, then we could see a nice move upward. But try to use small lot sizes on these pairs. Okay, pound Kiwi. It's right at this 177.07 macro level. Weekly, it's been down. Daily, it's been up. So it is a bit of a mixed one. And on the 4 hour, it's really been hitting its head against the ceiling here at this level. It broke through and then crashed back down again. Well, not really crashed, but it came back down again. So there is a trend catcher move to the downside, but it really depends. I wouldn't be taking this one right now, and see what happens on price as compared to the 177.07 macro level. Okay, so finally Aussie CAD, up on the weekly, although it's a fairly messy one to look at. Down on the daily. Again, this macro level here is the one to watch, 10048. And if we get, say, a crossover on the 1 hour, we've got 10048 macro level as resistance behind our back. We could see a nice move down towards 99.37. And like with the yen, you want to take a look at the Aussie before entering that trade and see if the Aussie is experiencing weakness. If it is, then it might be a good opportunity. Also, take a look at the dollar CAD, and that may provide a bit of input. If it's moving down as well, then we could see an overall strength in the CAD that will help the Aussie CAD move down. Euro CAD. Weekly, it's pretty messy. I'm not going to even call on this one. Down on the daily and a bit of a correction on the upward, but we could see another definitely down on the weekly, or new down on the weekly, down on the daily. Here we go, 143.45. If we see, say on a shorter time frame, it's just broken above, but that's just on the 1 hour. So let's see what happens. If it crosses back over on, say, a 15-minute, below 143.45 could be a good opportunity to go down. You want to see more of a downswing on the 1 hour, of course, and that would naturally occur if you're looking at that 15-minute. And on the 4 hour, it's right on this macro level right now, so too hard to tell. But if it closes below 143.45 with a crossover or with a nice, 1 hour price slip, then there could be an opportunity to short it. Okay, very last, pound CAD, downward on the weekly. It's been technically upward on the daily. It almost crossed over to the downside, but still sticking above. and been going kind of sideways. I'd be looking more at shorting this if it goes under 167.24 with, say, a 4-hour trend trade. Um, yeah, that would probably be the best idea moving forward. And look at shorting it to this 164.71 level or even below. Alrighty, that concludes market analysis for today, November 28, 2016. Watch out for a system trading workshop um, that I'll be holding very soon in the next couple of weeks. It's pretty exciting stuff. I won't mention anything else at this stage, but when you do get an email invitation for it, make sure you check it out. It's certainly worthwhile. We're going to go into a lot of depth of a couple of trading strategies, and one in particular that I'll coach you to build during the workshop. So it's pretty innovative stuff, pretty exciting. I'm super excited about it. I know it's going to positively impact a lot of traders' lives. So until then, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon.